In the book, The God Delusion by Richard Dawkins, he has, in one of his chapters, he talks about the parable of the moth. And I actually like this parable. I thought it was very interesting. But I'm surprised that what he argues, he didn't catch. And it actually argues for the opposite of what I think he was trying to say. He goes off on this parable and he says, look, there's a moth that leaves its home at night and it flies out, and as it's flying out, it keeps the moon 30 degrees to its eye. As it's going out, as it's coming back, it tries to keep the moon 30 degrees to its eye and on its way back. It's kind of a conjecture of Dawkins that perhaps this is how moths navigate through the nighttime. Now, along his way, he finds a campfire, and mistaking the campfire for the position of where the moon is, starts to navigate himself based on the light of the campfire, and starts in 30-degree arcs closer and closer into the flame, and finally winds up burning in the flame. Now, what's interesting in this is that he draws this parable to say this is actually what religion has done to us, in that whereas we were all following the evolutionary path of the moon, this kind of fixed object in the sky, and as long as we were heading along that, we were going fine, and all of a sudden man-made fires of religion have drawn us off course and into this horrible fire. What's fascinating, though, is that as you examine the parable and you pick apart a little bit, I'm surprised that Dawkins didn't even see this. And that is that the moth was not itself doing anything other than it was supposed to do. In fact, the moth was a strict scientist. The moth was just using its eye, its little eye, to make sure it goes out and comes back. And what led the moth astray wasn't religion. It wasn't the Left Behind series. It wasn't some kind of weird emotional experience. It wasn't people clapping. It wasn't people speaking in tongues. It wasn't people healed. It wasn't any of that. All it was him using his senses. Now think about that for a minute. The moth used its senses, and by using its senses, it was steered off course. And by being steered off course, it wasn't religion. It wasn't anything other than its adherence to sight and sense only. And you know what this does? This inverts the parable, and it argues completely opposite of what Dawkins wanted to say. Dawkins wanted to say that the fire of religion draws us off course, and actually, it wasn't religion at all. It was his strict adherence to logic. It was his strict adherence to rationality. It was this little moth's brain devotion to what it can see. And in the end, it was reason that killed the moth.